Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am doing my flip through of my December 2022 Frankenplanner. So this is one of my favorite videos every month. I am going to be flipping through last month's planner, all the after the pan functional spreads that I have. In this flip through, I do flip through just basically my personal planner, so it's not going to be the memory books that I keep for my two daughters. And so it's really just all the functional pen to paper kind of spreads that I have. But I do enjoy functional planning, and I think, it's just nice to be able to see something a little bit different, especially with all the planner content on YouTube. Sometimes it tends to focus on like plan with me's and decorative planning, but I tend to be a functional planner and I like to kind of showcase that with my after the pins. So if you're here for that, please do stay tuned. We're just going to flip through this entire thing. So I do have it set up right now with like a big happy planner cover and expander discs. I did remove some of the pages, like the memory book pages, just because I wasn't going to be flipping through that, but they were in here initially, and now they're all moved into my January Frankenplanner. But we're going to flip through this. It is a combination of multiple different pages and brands, so you'll see all that as we go through, and I'll try to remember to give you all of that information. So it opens up to the hello page. This is one from the Happy Planner letter size. And then I did end up in December cutting down some like old like 3-ring binder tab dividers that I had. They were bigger than the size that they needed to be. So they were like even bigger than like 8.5 by 11. So I did cut them down to 8.5 by 11, excluding the tab. And so that removed like 3 holes, and then I just repunched it. So I put them in here just to store stuff, as you can see here. So I've got something stored here. This first section is my work section. And so some of this might have to be blurred out, just if there are any names, but I think, do my best to try to already cover up everything. But for the monthly, I do use it just to track my hours, as you can see here. This will have to be blurred out. In fact, I'll just take it out. But I did cover up the names, but what I do is, as you can see here, I did use some functional stickers here to track like some of my classes and meetings, but mostly it's just pen to paper. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. All right, so the next page looks like this. I did use some more stickers here, but this was really the last week of work that I had. So again, I used some functional stickers just to mark some days, and then I filled in some of the more empty spaces with like these kind of decorative boxes. But this is when I had my baby. So yeah, after that I was pretty much done. I did do a little bit of work, like checking emails, things like that, the week after. But then after that, it was pretty much like vacation. So I have a couple of notes here. I did cover this up, but there are advising notes underneath there. And then I have this, I'll have to blur out. So like a thank you card that I've got, and like some birthday cards, things like that. And yeah, so I'll just like have that. But like here, you can see I just like saved birthday cards, things like that. And that pretty much ends it. So the end of this month, I did actually include in my 2023, or like a 2023 planner. It was like the January currently page. So I pulled that out and just put that in there. Just to make like a full 2023 planner. So this is my personal section. First thing first, I have this habit tracker. It was one I made in November, actually. I don't know if this is focusing. So this is one I made in November, but I ended up just using the exact same one and just using highlighter instead to denote the December tasks that I completed. So that's that. And then what I did for December mostly was going to be these tool letter size pages that are a daily on one page. And I just wrote out all the notes. So to-do list, big events, like all-day events, or just like events that I didn't have a time for initially. And then here I track, of course, any events, but also just like a kind of running log of what I've done throughout the day. So that's pretty much it. And these are all going to be pen to paper. So I'll flip through it fairly quickly just so you can kind of see it, but it's just pen to paper. I'll have to blur this out. These are notes for my C-section, for like actual like instructions for the hospital. So at this point I did go into the hospital, so I skipped several days since I was in the hospital, right? So again, like these days are just empty. And then we left basically the 10th at night. But then after that, I was just with the baby, so I didn't take any notes here. And I really didn't get back into it until, as you can see right here, on the 14th. And so I started back up with taking notes, blurred out some stuff here. Like I did try to at least do some of that. But you can see, again, just pen to paper, essentially. So I'll blur this out. In fact, I'll take it out, actually. It's a whole pile of like private notes that I added in there. But then here I have like sticky notes, and then all the notes here. And then of course I kept like this folder of like paperwork and other documents, things I wanted to just kind of keep in reference from like doctor's appointments, things like that. So that's there. Again, I have to pull this out. All right, so again, just more notes, and again, like an entire envelope full of like different and additional notes that I had that just didn't fit on the page. It was like journaling and some mail. I'm trying to look through it just so you can kind of see it. And there's some financial documents, some things I need to just kind of move to actually Sophia's memory book, that kind of thing. So that's all in this folder that I have hanging to the side over here. All right, then here is moving into, of course, Christmas, and so I took fewer notes. I was mostly in my Christmas planner at that point, which I did flip through. I'm not going to do an after the pen flip through of it, just because it's pretty much the same. It's just all the notes with names and things like that. But I did do a flip through of my Christmas planner, and I was in there like writing out all the notes. I think right here was when I actually started like on the 22nd purchasing actual, I remember, I actually like was in the Christmas planner actually purchasing gifts that day. So like it was a very late Christmas shopping experience for me. So here again, some more notes, and then the 24th and 25th are pretty empty just because it was all day Christmas related events. And then going back after Christmas, I did have some notes. But then it was mostly a very lazy week. The very last week here, it was between Christmas and New Year's. I tend to take as like, a total like do nothing kind of time. And so towards the end of the month, because I didn't really want to just write on the pages just a few notes because I was just doing as little as possible, I decided to put them on sticky notes and just kind of stick them in there. And I can reuse these pages later. And so there were 3 days of that. You can see that, right? And then right here, I took additional notes. All right, so it's should probably just be combined over here. Right, so this third section is my section for my food log. And so I did the same thing in November and December, like where I had this for November and all the pin markings are for November, but then all the highlighted stuff is for December. I did that in my personal catch-all habit tracker as well. I actually have really loved using the habit tracker, so I will continue that in 2023 for sure. But what I use for food logging basically for most of the year for 2022 was this tiny like pocket planner that I got from At a Glance. I did purchase it on Amazon. It is linked in my Amazon like wish like products list. Is not a wish list, but it's like a products list of all the things that I purchased from Amazon. And so the 2023 version of this is posted on there. But again, it's just pen to paper. I do track at what time I ate, and it was mostly more important when I was pregnant and had gestational diabetes, so I could do my blood sugar testing. But then since I had the last month of December here, I went ahead and just continued logging it. But you can see some here, there's some notes here about how I need to like reference some of these notes on like my digital app that I was using while I was in the hospital. And then when I was in the hospital, and then the couple of days after the hospital, I was still using the digital app, and I didn't get back into it until basically noon on the 14th, same time as my like personal catch-all. And so here are all the notes as I started back using this. And again, you can see it's just pen to paper. There's like really just notes on all the food that I eat. And I do like to be really meticulous about my food tracking, like at least listing out everything that I do eat. When I was doing food tracking and like macro tracking before, I was actually even more intense with like listing out grams and like serving sizes, things like that too. But nowadays, I'm not quite that intense. I just list what I ate and like the actual items, not necessarily the quantity. So that's pretty much it. All right, and then it did include some like final pages that I just stuck in here, but they're not like anything that I used. Right, this next section is budget. This section I might have to blur some information out just because there might be some personal information that I don't want to share with you. But these are all of my budget notes. Like I need to actually move this to 2023. Very excited about being able to do that. I'll have to blur off this section for like privacy reasons. But what I do is basically use this kind of like skinny classic paper. This or like the size of it is skinny classic, but it's actually from Cloth and Paper. And I just basically list the date, the item, or the description, and then like how much it was, and then checked it when it cleared the bank. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So I only have a couple of sheets of that. And I did initially think or like had a plan to put my Christmas shopping in my Christmas planner, but I decided to keep the actual items in my Christmas planner and like the dollar amounts here, just because I mean I have to like check it off. So I did decide kind of mid-December to make that distinction, like the listed, or like the item itself is listed in the Christmas planner, but the dollar amount is listed here. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And then yeah, I'm doing some calculations. This I'll have to blur out just because this is like me kind of transferring money back and forth. And then here is just like some extra paper, and again I'll have to blur this out, but basically this is a breakdown of like all of the health insurance information that we have had for all of 2022, just because I was getting interested in like doing some of that stuff. Again, I'll blur it all out, but basically it's just a printout of some of that stuff. And then here, this last section is going to be my social media section, and I've got in this folder like stencils and like sticky notes and like stuff I need to recycle, all sorts of messy stuff. And some of these beginning pages I've actually flipped through in previous planners, but I've just continued transferring them forward because I haven't finished with them. But I have flipped through those pages initially, or like at some point. But I basically used this like Happy Planner letter size planner that's a big vertical, and you know, basically started here. Of course, this was like the all the way through the November 30th, but then starting here was December 1st. And I did decorate this planner most weeks. I think there was one week where I didn't decorate it, but look how cute this is. Does not look so cute? And then somehow I like messed up and like had a bunch of extra pages in between that I don't know why I had extra pages. But then I flipped to this page. I don't even know why. It's literally like old pages that I just somehow skipped over when I was decorating these pages in advance. But then here is the week of Christmas, and then here's the last week. So I think I must have gone back in. I think this was the week initially that I didn't decorate at all, but I must have gone in at some point and stuck down some stickers. These are definitely like added. These stickers are added afterwards. I did write in all of these other things and then just added the stickers afterwards, but I did pre-plan this. I thought this was really cute. Yes, my last 2022 spread for my social media, right? And then I have all these extra pages, and then here, this was the section where I had Sophia's memory book, and then here I'll have to not flip that again, like that's just notes from the C-section, which I made copies of, or like they gave me multiple copies too, but like this was the section for Rose, my newborn, and then this last section was the section that I was keeping the Christmas planner notes in. And I have like bunches of notes in here. I definitely need to go in here and clean this out, but basically that was the flip through of my December 2022. It's already kind of hard to say that. I can't believe that. But anyway, my December 2022 Frankenplanner, my functional planners. So I did have, of course, my work, personal, my food log, my budget, and my social media sections. So those 5 sections were in here. And I feel like I did a really good job, actually, of like keeping up with those 5 sections in 2022. I think this might be the shortest one I've ever posted. So yay me for that, for talking a lot quicker and being less chatty in it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, though. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.